What's going on, you guys? And greetings. I am Mr. Grimreaper 2, and welcome everybody to another edition of RIP from the Silverscreen. Tonight, me and Dark Knight 97 are going to go back to 1999 and talk about one of a film that is regarded as the very beginning of the found footage films, the Blair Witch Project. This was directed by Daniel Merck and Eduardo Sanchez. It stars Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, and Joshua Leonard. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, it's basically what would be the it's basically what would start the whole found footage craze. You know what I mean? Like films like Paranormal Activity, like we talked about yesterday, or wait, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday, or the day before that. Yesterday, I think.
The day before, yesterday we did like the haunted house type of thing, but yeah. I get you.
Yeah, and also Cloverfield, which I'm gonna get to another day. I'm probably gonna talk about that later another day. But before we get into this, I need to talk about the marketing for this film. The marketing of this film scared the shit out of people. It really scared the dog shit out of people. Like, people had no idea what the hell was going on. You know what I mean? Like, so people had no idea. Like, there was like posters and stuff like that of these three people that were in the movie. You know, Heather and Josh and Michael, the three people that actually played characters in this movie.
The characters actually, the first names are their real names.
Yeah.
And crazy.
Yeah. So what happened is that everything when this movie was gonna come out, everyone went nuts, thinking that this shit was real. Because I remember the marketing for this movie. Everybody was scared out of their fucking wits at this movie.
Oh, without a doubt.
There was a mockumentary on the Sci-Fi Channel years back in 1999 called the Curse of the Blair Witch, which is basically a backstory about the film and stuff like that. So, yeah, and this was also the first film widely released, marketed primarily by the internet at the time. So that was a huge freaking thing. This movie was a huge fucking deal back then.
Yep.
So, all right, so we're gonna get into the plot. We're gonna go through the plot. Just fair warning, there will be spoilers. So if you have not, I mean, come on, really, don't tell me you have not seen this movie, because I am surprised that you haven't seen this movie. But if you haven't seen this movie, still, get off this video. Go pick it up at a video store or something, if there still is video stores, or watch it online, and then come back. Because I'm about to go through this plot right now, and I don't hear anybody say, "Oh, you're pulling out spoilers." Yee. Don't say I didn't warn you. So, all right. So anyway, as always, we're gonna go through the plot, and we're gonna read it, and then we're gonna talk about the movie and stuff like that. And yes, real soon I will get to the the shitty sequel that they made for this movie, which was Book of Secrets. Oh God. But anyway, okay, so here we go. In October of 1994, film students Heather, Mike, and Josh, played by the respectable people, set out to produce a documentary about the fabled Blair Witch. They traveled to Burkittsville, Maryland, and interviewed residents about the legend. Locals tell them of Rustin Parr, a hermit who lived in the woods and kidnapped 7 children in the 1940s, killing 7 of them supposedly on the orders of a witch. After spending the night at a motel, the students explore the woods of North Burkittsville to research the legend. Along the way, they meet 2 fishermen, one of whom warns them that the woods are haunted. He also tells them of a young girl named Robin Weaver who went missing in 1888. When she returned 3 days later, she talked about an old woman whose feet never touches the ground. His companion, however, is skeptical of the story. The students hiked to Coffin Rock, where 5 men were found ritualistically murdered in the 19th century. Their bodies later disappeared. The group camped for the night. They move deeper into the woods the next day and locate what appears to be an old cemetery with 7 small, cairns? And set up camp nearby. That night, they hear the sound of twigs snapping from all directions, but assume the noises are from animals or locals. The following day, they try to hike back to the car, but are unable to find it before dark and make camp. They again hear twigs snapping at night, but fail to find the source of the noises. In the morning, they find that 3 cairns have been built around their tent during the night, which unnerves them. Of course it would. That would be scary as fuck. As they continue, Heather learns her map is missing. Mike later reveals he kicked it into a creek the previous day out of frustration, which prompts Heather and Josh to attack him in rage. I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, definitely.
That's our only. I mean, come on. That's the only way to get where you need to go. You know.
Exactly.
They realize they are now lost and decide simply to head south, using Mike's compass to guide them. They eventually reach a section where they discover a multitude of humanoid stick figures suspended from trees. They again hear sounds that night, including those of children laughing, among other strange noises. After an unknown force shakes the tent, they flee in panic and hide in the woods until dawn. Upon returning to the tent, they find that their possessions have been rifled through and Josh's equipment is covered with slime. As they continue, they come across a log on a river identical to one they crossed earlier. They realize they have walked in a circle despite thinking they traveled south all day, and once again make camp. Josh suffers a nervous breakdown while holding the camera, taunting Heather to their circumstances and her constant recording of the events. Josh disappears the next morning, and Heather and Mike try in vain to find him before slowly proceeding. That night they hear Josh's agonizing screams in the darkness, but unable to locate him. Mike and Heather theorize that Josh's screams are fabrication by the witch to draw them out of their tent. The next day, outside her tent, Heather discovers a bundle of sticks tied with a piece of fabric from Josh's shirt. As she searches through it, she finds blood-soaked scraps of Josh's shirt as well as teeth, hair, and what appears to be a piece of his tongue. Jesus. Although distraught by the discovery, she chooses not to tell Mike. That night, Heather records herself apologizing to her family and to Mike's and Josh's families, taking full responsibility for their predicament. Thus, that's what the poster looks like. Have you ever seen the poster before? That's what the... Yeah. They again hear Josh's agonized cries for help and follow them to a derelict, abandoned house containing demonic symbols and children's bloody handprints on the walls. Mike races upstairs to find Josh while Heather follows. Mike says he hears Josh in the basement. He runs downstairs while hysterical Heather struggles to keep up. Upon reaching the basement, an unseen force attacks Michael, causing him to drop the camera and go silent. Heather enters the basement screaming, and her camera catches Michael facing a corner. Something unseen attacks Heather, causing her to drop the camera and go silent as well, and the footage ends, thus ending the Blair Witch Project. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this movie, shall we? This movie is the scariest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. If you were gonna go, if you were, say you and a couple of friends of yours were gonna go out into the woods, and yeah, say if you're you and a couple of friends were gonna go out into the woods or something like that to do stuff and stuff like that, and you come across horrible crap like this. You know, it's scary as hell. You know what I mean? So, but what do you think of what did you think of the Blair Witch Project, man?
Well, I have not seen this, but after reading all that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, of course it has to be the scariest movie. You know, of course it's the scariest movie, and like I said, that's why guys watched it. But yeah, and as Grim said earlier, it was one of the first releases of found footage.
Yeah.
You know, they recorded. This is not like your average horror movie. This is something that people have. You see their camera, you see them walking, you see them. You know what I mean? It's like you're watching recordings of what happened of the event.
Yeah.
You're watching, you know, what they recorded. You know.
Yeah.
And so this is not your regular killer / scary movie type thing. It's like it's actually happening. You know, it's like
it's like
and shown.
yeah, it's like it's kind of like real life occurrences. That's what it's kind of like. And I found I remember watching this movie years ago. The first time I watched it, it was so unnerving. It was so like you can cut like the air. Like you could cut the air with a knife. That's how tense it was. That's how creepy too it was. And I kind of wish that we could have seen what the witch looked like. You know what I mean? Because even in there's been movies of this. There's been other. There's a remake that they made like what? Like 3 years ago, back in 2016, they made a remake of it. So yeah, they made a remake of it, like back in 2016, which I saw, which is scary as crap too. So I'm probably gonna talk about that soon. But yeah, this movie has to be the most scariest thing you've ever seen in your entire life, and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. The Blair Witch Project is still one of the scariest movies in cinema, for good reason too, because of how horrifying it is and stuff like that. So, but yeah. But yeah, let us know in the comment section down below what you guys thought of the Blair Witch Project. And as I said, if you have not seen this movie, go online. You should be able to find it online somewhere, or look for the DVD or something like that online or whatever. pick it up and watch it. It's gonna scare the hell out of you, like it did me. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. That's gonna be it for right now. I am, as always, Mr. Grimreaper 2 with Dark 997. I got 2 more reviews to give you guys for today, including the return of the Reaper movie reviews. It's coming up here in a little while too. So, I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2, and I'll see you on the afterlife. Peace.